so my name is Claire. I'm 23 years old and I have been in Leipzig for about a year and a half now. I come from Australia and I'm studying Japanology at the University of Leipzig, so Japanese studies.
So, why did you move to Leipzig and how was the experience?
So it's always a bit embarrassing to say, but I moved to Leipzig because university is free here. It wasn't because I thought Germany and Leipzig would necessarily be amazing places. I just didn't want to pay for university. In Australia, the system is such that the government will pay for your degree, but then after you start earning a certain amount of money, you have to pay the government back, and it's very expensive. And I really wanted to be independent. That's a very important thing to me. And I knew that if I was staying in Australia, that, my parents would have to support me throughout my degree because I couldn't focus on my studies well enough, as well as working on the side, and I just wanted a bit of a break from that. And I wanted to improve my German and try something new. The experience of moving here has been a very good one. So I have experience living in Austria for 1 year. I did an exchange, but obviously it's kind of different when you don't have a host family that's taking care of you and walking you through everything. At first it was very stressful with the visa and, getting settled and the bureaucracy. But after a while it sort of sorted out and it's been a really positive time for me. I was kind of worried that, leaving my home would be the worst experience. Well, not the worst, but certainly a really stressful time. And it has been stressful, but I would say it's also been really good and I'm very comfortable and very at home here. Leipzig wasn't my first choice. I actually only decided to stay here after moving to Germany. So I came over just with the intent of studying. And then after I did my entrance examinations for Studienkolleg, which is like a preparation course, I had to do one here in Leipzig, one in Halle and one in Munich. And of the three places, I liked Leipzig the best and was accepted into Leipzig. And after I started the course, I thought that Leipzig was actually really great and I wanted to stay here. And that's why I applied for the University of Leipzig.
What do you need to know before you come to Leipzig?
Oh, bureaucracy is everything. But I suppose that's more of a general German thing as opposed to a Leipzig thing. Before coming to Leipzig, it's helpful to know a bit of the history just because it kind of gives context to a bit of the way people react about things. Obviously, Leipzig used to be part of Eastern Germany. It's still in the east of Germany, but the Eastern Bloc. It's valuable history to have.
Tell me about something funny or weird that happened to you here.
I do find tram and public transport culture really frustrating here in Germany. I don't know if it's necessarily much better in Australia, but it drives me insane that you get on a tram and the first thing that everybody does is put their bag on the seat next to them. I find it super antisocial and I find old people are the worst for it. They cannot wait for the people on the tram to get out before they get on. They always stand directly in the way. They always have to get on before everybody gets out, which makes no sense. There are going to be more spaces for you when there are fewer people on the tram. So that frustrates me. But I once was on a tram and I saw an elderly woman sitting in a seat and the first thing she did, again, was put the bag on the seat next to her. And then at the next stop, another elderly woman got on the tram and she was standing in front of the first elderly woman and she was looking at the woman. And it was very obvious that she wanted to sit down. She looked at the woman, at the bag, at the woman, at the bag. The woman didn't do anything. She obviously didn't want to move her bag. And after a while, the woman who had just gotten on the tram, she said, "Is your bag pregnant?" And the woman said, "What? Excuse me?" And she said, "Is it disabled?" And she said, "What? No." And she said, "Well, then it doesn't need the seat, does it?" And I was like, yes. You tell her. And I found that it was great because first of all, the woman got a little bit embarrassed and had to move her bag and the other woman got her seat. And I wish I had the guts to do that every time I saw someone taking up a seat with their bag.
Do you see yourself staying in Leipzig for a long term?
I think I do. It's all a bit complicated at the moment. I'm not yet certain if I want to stay in Leipzig or move back to Australia or try somewhere else. I made the great mistake of finding a boyfriend here, and so that adds, a complicated level to it. But in terms of places to live, I could definitely see myself staying on in Leipzig. Although I say that, but it is really cold at the moment, so it's kind of hard to see it at the moment. But I think certainly when summer comes back, it's a good place to live, and I could see it being a long-term.
So give me a recommendation of something to do or to see in Leipzig.
So it's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone likes it, but I would really recommend the opera. Leipzig Opera is really, really good. I mean, I love the drama of the opera. I think it's great. But they always have really good productions. It's certainly an experience worth having. And also compared to going out in, say, Berlin or somewhere else, it is again affordable. And so it's an experience that one can afford to pay for, to have that experience. I think the opera is definitely something worth visiting. And if not for the opera, just for the building, it's really beautiful inside.
Yeah.